past year, a series of gruesome murders had shaken its residents to the core. Each victim was found in the outskirts of the vast and dense Blackwood forest, their bodies mutilated in ritualistic patterns, their faces frozen in terror. The town's once peaceful ambience was now overshadowed by fear, with parents warning their children to stay away from the forest's edge and nightly curfews being imposed. The local police were baffled. Despite their best efforts, no suspects were identified, and the murders continued. The only consistent clue was a series of symbols carved into the trees near each crime scene, symbols that were ancient and ominous. Detective Clara Redwood, having grown up hearing tales of the haunted Blackwood forest, had recently returned to Elder Grove after years in the city. She was determined to solve the murders and restore peace to her hometown. Rumors began to circulate about the Hermit of Blackwood, a man named Leonard who had once been a respected scholar in the community. After a series of personal tragedies, he had vanished into the forest, becoming a thing of legend. Many believed he had gone mad, turning to ancient rituals in a desperate attempt to communicate with the dead. Determined to find answers, Clara ventured into the heart of Blackwood Forest. The deeper she went, the more the chilling whispers of the past echoed around her. The dense canopy above seemed to close in, and the once familiar paths twisted and turned in unfamiliar ways. The forest was alive, watching her every move. As Clara delved deeper into the forest, she began to uncover its dark history. Blackwood had once been the site of pagan rituals, where the boundaries between the living and the spirit world were said to blur. Ancient texts spoke of a time when the spirits of the forest were appeased with offerings, ensuring harmony between man and nature. But over time, these rituals were forgotten, and the spirits grew restless. One evening, Clara stumbled upon an old journal half buried under fallen leaves. The journal belonged to Leonard. Through its pages, she learned of his descent into madness. Leonard wrote of his discovery of the ancient rituals and his obsession with resurrecting his lost family. He believed that the forest held the key to bridging the world of the living and the dead. After hours of trekking, Clara stumbled upon a clearing. In its center stood an ancient stone altar stained with fresh blood. Surrounding it were makeshift cages, some containing the remains of the recent victims, while others held people who were still alive but barely clinging to life. Horrified, Clara was about to retreat when she heard a voice. "You shouldn't have come here," it hissed. Turning around, she saw Leonard emerging from the shadows. His appearance was haggard, with wild eyes and a long, unkempt beard. In his hand he clutched a dagger, its blade stained with blood. Clara tried to reason with him, reminding him of his past and the man he once was. But Leonard's mind was too far gone. He rambled about the ancient rituals he had discovered, which promised power and a way to commune with the dead. He believed that by sacrificing the innocent, he could bridge the gap between the living and the spirit world. As Leonard advanced, Clara, using her detective training, managed to disarm him temporarily. She freed the surviving victims, urging them to flee and find help. But as they made their escape, the forest itself seemed to turn against them. Trees shifted, blocking their path, and the ground beneath them became treacherous. Leonard, chanting an incantation, summoned the spirits of the forest. Shadowy figures emerged, their whispers growing louder and more insistent. Clara realized that Leonard's rituals had not only driven him mad, but had also awakened the ancient spirits of Blackwood. In a desperate bid to protect the survivors, Clara confronted Leonard, trying to draw his attention away from them. The two clashed, with Clara using all her skills to fend off Leonard's frenzied attacks. But the spirits of Blackwood were on his side. They swirled around Clara, their whispers growing louder, disorienting her. In the midst of the chaos, Leonard managed to overpower Clara. With a swift motion, he plunged the dagger into her heart, sacrificing her to the spirits of Blackwood. As Clara's life ebbed away, she saw the spirits bowing to Leonard, acknowledging him as their master. The survivors, witnessing Clara's sacrifice, managed to escape the forest and alert the local police. But by the time they returned, there was no sign of Leonard or Clara. The forest had claimed them. Elder Grove was plunged into mourning. Clara was hailed as a hero, having given her life to save others. A memorial was erected in her honor at the entrance to Blackwood Forest, serving as a reminder of her bravery and sacrifice. But the forest remained a place of fear and mystery. Parents told their children tales of the Hermit of Blackwood and the brave detective who had tried to stop him. And while many ventured into the forest in search of Leonard, none ever returned. The spirits of Blackwood, now awakened and empowered by Clara's sacrifice, continued to haunt the forest, ensuring that the horrors of the past would never be forgotten. Years passed, and tales of Blackwood became the stuff of legend. But those who lived in Elder Grove knew better. They knew that the forest held dark secrets, and that the boundary between the living and the spirit world was thin. And as the years went by, the tales of the Hermit of Blackwood and the brave detective who tried to stop him became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of delving too deep into the unknown.